Hey everyone, I'm Sally Millines, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Newstalgia Stamping. And Newstalgia Stamping is where I like to demonstrate some fun new products while showing that they can be incorporated with already existing products that we have on hand. Our Stampin' Up! Products that we have are so well made. It is a shame to have the ones that we have loved for a while to just sit on the shelf. So I like to incorporate them while enjoying some fun new products. Today is my fifth, I don't know exactly how to say it, Stampiversary, I guess you would call it, March 24th. Today I celebrate my 5th anniversary as being a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm glad that you're here to help me celebrate that. And so today you see this card. This is the card that our Stampin' Up! Group is going to be doing the month of April. And it is using the Desert Details bundle. And this is just a lovely set with beautiful flowers. These are distinctive stamps that just show so much detail, and they are so beautiful. This southwestern theme with the borders, the beautiful font that we have in the sentiments, all of that is just so pretty. It makes for a beautiful card. I've made several samples, and the more I use it, the more I love it. Also, in that same suite, we have some designer series papers. We have some dry brushed metallics with soft succulent, and I believe this is some copper coloring is what I've used it with. And we also have some with Calypso Coral and this same metallic color. It looks good with gold, it looks good with copper, so I think you could use it with either one. So we're going to be using some of that today. And with this suite, with the DSP, it lends itself to be used more with like petal pink, calypso coral, soft succulent, even some mint macaron, some of those really pretty colors, and even some gray granite is incorporated in the DSP. But now today, in true Newstalgia form, I would like to incorporate some of the Desert Details backgrounds with some fun and whimsical stamps that we probably, a lot of us have on hand. And that would be the Cactus Cuties. Of course, cactus being from the Southwest lends itself to be to work really well with the DSP, as well as some of the dies that are in the Desert Details set. So let's get started. So first of all, what we're going to do is that we are going to use some of those stamps, and we're going to be stamping a couple of the, one of the cactus and a pot. Now, I have some of these already cut out, but we're going to be using a retired color, but however, with Pretty Peacock, yes, it's a retired color, but it's coming back. It's coming back this year in our color refresh. We don't know just yet if it's going to be a new in color or if it's going to be in the total refresh that that Stampin' Up! Does, but I'm so excited it's coming back. I think it will work very nicely with soft succulent. I am going to be very depressed when soft succulent goes away as an in color. I use it a lot. Let's get this stamped. I did want to mention too that while you're making your cards, also think about where this card is going and who is it going to. Are you just making it just for fun, or are you making it to send somewhere? Hopefully to send somewhere. There are so many people that need some uplifting. They need encouragement. They need prayers. They need to know that somebody's thinking about them. So that's kind of where I'm going with this today, is that this particular card I am going to be sending to a friend of ours that had surgery this week and is having a hard time, has just been put back in ICU, Mr. Billy, and we love him and just want him to know that we're thinking of him. This one, however, is going to be sort of a whimsical card. So I have that cactus stamped in Pretty Peacock. And now the little topper, I'm going to use Calypso Coral, and let's see how this looks together. Of course, we're going to have to fussy cut them. I know just the word fussy cut, sometimes people have to go get a cold rag to put on their head, but these are very easy images to cut out, and so we're not going to stress about that. And the pot that we're going to use, I'm going to use soft suede for that. Soft suede works really well with crumb cake, and that's what I'm going to be using as my background. Because these are photopolymer stamps. I have underneath here my Stampin' Pierce mat that I just have some scrap paper on top of it, just to keep it nice and neat. And so these images we're going to cut out, fussy cut, and through magic, I have those already ready for us, so you don't have to sit and watch me do that. And we'll be bringing that back in just a few minutes to stamp our sentiment. Well, I'll tell you what, we're here. Let's just go ahead and do that. I think our sentiment, I've got soft suede out, so I'm just going to go ahead and use soft suede for our sentiment. Of course, I had already taken my Stampin' Pierce mat away, so I didn't get to use it. All right. And we will set that off to the side and bring that back in just a few minutes. Now, let's look at some of the background pieces and see what some of our dimensions are. This particular strip is very vanilla, and it is a 1/2-inch strip, and we could cut that down since the sentiment is a little bit smaller than that, or we could leave it at a 1/2 inch and just trim that down. These elements I also stamped on very vanilla, and here's the rest of the pieces that we're going to use. Our card base is going to be crumb cake. And I will bring this, our trimmer in. And I am going to cut it at 5.5. Now you'll see with my trimmer, I've got some color coding going on here in, on these markings. I do that just for speed's sake, so I don't have to use so much brain power. The card base dimensions for A2, 5.5, 4.25. So I just, I have some strong markings in black for that. Our lesser markings, I have brown for 5 3/8 and 4 1/8. Those coordinate. The red markings, 5 1/4 and 4. Those go together. Then I also have marked 5 3 3/4. I use that a lot. So in the long run, it just saves me some time and some thought process. When you get to be my age, you need all the help you can get. So we're going to line that up at 4 1/4, and I'm going to score. Now with our trimmer, I'll tell you what, I love this trimmer. I have 3 other trimmers sitting behind me that I have had for years. I very seldom ever pick them up because this one is such a jewel. Not only does it cut beautifully in both directions, up and down, it has measurements here on this side that I have put a strip of tearing tape so I can just visualize those measurements easily. You can measure on this side of the cutting edge or on this side. It has the articulating arm that goes out that you can use up to 17 inches, which is wonderful, especially for scrapbookers. And it has a hole here that you can put a hook on your wall or on your desk or wherever just to hang it, to keep it out of the way. It has a score blade here that goes up and down in a different color where you can easily differentiate that. One of the things about the trimmer that I had to kind of change a little bit from the other trimmers that I was used to using, just open and close, no trouble. This one had a little bubble of plastic, I guess you'd say, here, and it snapped open and shut. And that was by design, so it would stay shut when traveling. It wouldn't fly open, that kind of thing. Maybe you wouldn't lose your blades so easily. But that was cumbersome to me. So what I did is I just got a nice coarse emery board and I filed that down, and now it opens very easily. So that may be something you, if that drives you crazy, that may be something that you want to do. There's one at the top and one at the bottom that I filed off. Okay. Now, oh, we're going to also be using this. Let's see. Let's go back to what I was talking about. Okay, we're going to use our bone folder. Give that a good crease and burnish. Okay, the next thing that we're going to be bringing in is going to be our next layer. This layer we need to cut at, since it is the Designer Series paper layer, I like to do it at 5 1/4 by 4. Keep your scraps always. And I also have, let's see, we're going to be using a piece of soft succulent that we're going to back that with as our layer that's going to go on our crumb cake. Now today I think we're going to be using this in landscape form. You can certainly use it in portrait, whichever way that you would like. I'm going to use it that way. And let's see, here we have 2 other pieces. We have a piece of the dry brush metallic and a piece of soft succulent. These are for die cutting. I'm going to do that. Here's a piece of cork. Now our cork paper has been retired for, I think a couple of years, but I love it. It adds some texture. It lends itself to masculine cards. So I'm going to cut away some of this that I've already used. Now, some of you may have seen this. This is just my little trash can that I keep sitting on my desk. Kind of helps with damage control. And now let's get our desert details. And we're going to be using these 2 dies, as well as this grassy looking die. And I'll be bringing in our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. With our trimmer, we can take that away. Oh, no, we're not through with our trimmer because I need to cut a layer for the inside of our card. And that is going to be 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. This has a little something on it, so I'm going to turn it around this way. Okay. And that will be the inside of our card. Okay. Now for our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, let's see, I'm going to get the dry brush metallic layer to start with. You'll notice that on my plates, I have each corner numbered. I do that so each time I can flip them over so my plates don't get warped. And I have found that to be very successful. I don't worry about my plates anymore. Used to, it was just a constant struggle. And I got that, of course, as a tip from another demonstrator, and it has really helped me out. This plate, I have plate 4 matching up with 4, not plate 4, it's plate 3, but I have it numbered 4, corner of 4. Look how beautiful that is. Oh, gosh, I just love it. And then we have this die that we are going to use now. I used number 4 last time, so now it's time to do number 1. And I will line this up. This is some Post-it tape that I keep available. Now, the dimensions for all of these elements are going to be on my blog in a PDF format that you can look at. And let's see, I can tell you that the dry brush metallic, I started out with a 2 3/4 inch by 4 before I die cut it. This particular piece was 3 3/4 by 5 before I die cut it. And you see how gorgeous that is. So pretty. Now, the next thing we're going to die cut is we're going to die cut this element out of the cork. And I will turn my plates to number 2 and number 2. Take your pick tool. Now, I have to say, if I had to choose 2 things in my craft room that if I were to lose them or if they were to break today, I would go as fast as I could, get on Stampin' Up site, and reorder them immediately. And that would be my trimmer and my Take Your Pick tool. These 2 are in that. Of course, you can see how horrible this looks. That's because it's in my hand all the time. Scissors are, somewhat just scissors, and so many other things. We've had our Big Shot for, that was our cutting and emboss machine before we had this wonderful tool. But I tell you what, I cannot do without my trimmer or my Take Your Pick tool. Those are just 2 premier items. Okay, let's start putting some of this together. Alrighty, now let's see if I can possibly get this anywhere close to straight. Okay, Stampin' Seal, I absolutely love, love, love. The other tape runner that we used to have had a noise to it that drove me up a wall. I couldn't stand it. In fact, I had to use another company's instead of that because the noise just was like, it was just like fingers on a chalkboard. I could not tolerate it, which is a weirdness on my part, I know, but I just didn't like it. This is very smooth. It takes a little bit of work, but when you use it, if you will bring it down, straight down, using a light touch, and then roll it over, no problem at all. It's easy to load. It's relatively inexpensive, and it holds incredibly. Now, I know a lot of people like the Stamp & Seal Plus, which is a little bit stronger adhesive. And I do use that occasionally, but really I like just the regular Stamp & Seal just as well. Okay, so here we have our base. Now, what I want to do is I want to layer these two die cuts. I'm lining up the indentations here, 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 and there. You can see that. Yeah. This is going to go here on dimensionals. And if you take your pick tool, go this way, pick it. And this is a little technique that Lisa Curcio, another demonstrator, does all the time, and it has been very handy to learn that. Of course, you can tell by my hands that I do have arthritis, and that just comes with age, use, and abuse over the course of time. Now, I am going to get a mini dimensional, and you may think this is kind of weird, but I'm going to, well, I lost it. All right. Oh, there it is. I am going to put that right up under this little indentation, and hopefully get it to where it doesn't show. Just poke it right up under there. And I'll show you what we'll do with that in just a moment. Okay, I'm always trying to check and see I've got the orientation the right way. Now, our cork, I'm going to just put here, and I'm going to put our cactus coming out there. So, this I'm going to put on dimensionals. I am going to give this just a little bit of a haircut. Let's get our dimensionals back. And I'm going to place this first before I glue this down, just because I think I can get a little better placement that way. I'm going to bring that down just a hair. Pop this up. Of course, we had another set, I think it was a kit that we had that had some cactus in it. I guess you should say cacti. And unfortunately, I just messed around and I never got that, and I have been kicking myself ever since. Because it had some really beautiful, beautiful flowers in there, and it had some really nice cactus. Look at that. That was like a kindergartner chewed that. All right, let's use some mini dimensionals on that. And I may do better that way. And I think I'll go under. What do you think? And honestly, I think I need another one right there. I didn't want you to have to watch me cut out, but such is life. And one thing, when you are fussy cutting, hold your scissors, put the paper or the cardstock right in the fulcrum of the scissors, turn your image, not your scissors. And with me and my arthritis, I usually start out wide with my margins, and then I can cut them down as I feel like I need to, which I feel like I do need to work on this just a little bit. Okay. We will get another mini dimensional. And we will put that right there. Now, to put this down, we are going to need a little bit of glue. Kind of have to be careful putting glue on elements that you're going to be putting on metallic cardstock, because the glue and the metallic sometimes will, if it oozes out, it will kind of leave a little mark, so kind of have to be sparing with your glue. And I'm going to give a tuck right here. Put that there. And now, this is what I don't like about glue, is when it gets on your hands, you can't do anything. And I think with this, I think I'm just going to give that an angle. Put it there. With this type of thing, it would be great if you use some adhesive sheets. Of course, I always think about that later, and it would have been great to have that on there, and I would have positioned it, I think, just a little bit differently had I had the advantage of that, but we'll let that go as it is. And we'll just say just a note. Let's see, where do we want it? Do we want it there? Do we want it there? Or I think we'll go with it here. It's gonna be kind of fiddly. Okay, so what do you think? I think the Pretty Peacock and the Soft Succulent, I think they work well together. Okay, now what are we going to do with this? What I'm going to do with that is I'm going to get some linen thread. Use the noise. And this is a bow jig that another demonstrator has a friend who makes these, from Kelly Atchison, and it is such a simple concept, but it works so well. Okay, you just place your nails, whatever size bow you want, and you just, I'm going to do a double bow actually to give it some floof. You're going to tuck one under, and then just give it a tie. It's so easy. Okay, and your nails store right there. So here we have our bow, and since we already has adhesive right there, I'm just going to give that a tuck and finish that off there. I think it would do well with a few embellishments, so I do have some of these brushed metallic, and of course you can tell these are my favorite. Of course, I've already used the gold. I've got a few copper left. These are, I think, what you call a gunmetal finish, but I hardly ever use those. I'm going to use the copper, and I think I'm going to put one there. And maybe one there. And perhaps another small one right there. Gotta finish that out. All right, now let's do the inside, because we can't leave that naked. All right, I always have to remind myself what our orientation is. This is landscape, and I have to remember I've got to do landscape here. So one of the things one of these borders in our desert details is so pretty. And look at this. This is a die that comes with the desert details, and that's cut out of some copper. Isn't that beautiful? I've used that on several cards. It's just a leftover piece that I had, but I think I'm going to use this one. I've used this one several times. All right. Now to get this straight, I'm going to need to line it up straight to start with. Get our block going straight, and hopefully, I'm going to line this up. Now, I think border-wise, I think I'll use soft suede. No, I'm going to use Pretty Peacock, because I love it. I'm really excited that Pretty Peacock's coming back. Lost Lagoon is coming back. And it was just, I was just so fortunate that I still had all the card stock. I still had refills. I still had my stamp pads for both of those colors. And I'm just so excited that they are coming back. I'm going to line this up. Give it a stamp. Ooh, look how pretty. Put that over there to clean. Okay, to dry a little bit. And get our soft succulent base while this is drying a little bit. There we go. Now for a sentiment, we started out saying just a note. So really we could use anything here for our sentiment. And I tell you what, I'm going to wait on my sentiment until I know what a particular need is. So I've already got a card for Mr. Billy, and so I'm just going to wait on that sentiment. There are so many to choose from. All right. Here is our card. And we will place that in our crumb cake card base. So fun. I'm so glad that we could combine some of these stamp sets and have them work so nicely. Now, of course, you can get a little Wink of Stella, and we can put on there, maybe right on these little cap things. There is so much shininess going on with this piece that I'm just not going to do that. I think that would be just overkill. So I'm going to leave that be. Now, the next thing we need to do is we need to work on our envelope. We could either stamp our envelope, or we can put some Designer Series paper on there. And look how bent that is, but it'll be fine once you get the card in there. And let's see. With our Cactus Cuties, we can just choose another cactus. It'll be fine. I'll use that. And I think I will use this one for our envelope. Grab another block. Now, I have not used this particular stamp yet. You can see how shiny it is. I like to give just a little bit of eraser, Plano eraser, on it to get it to stamp well. since this is photopolymer, I'm going to bring back in our Stampin' Pierce mat. Even though this is just an envelope, it deserves care and attention. Let's be sure we get the orientation correct. And gosh, you can never have enough blocks. Okay, we'll check that. Looks like I've got something on my stamp. I need to get that off. That's better. Oh, look at that. Well, we can get a marker and take care of that. No harm, no foul. Now, also with Pretty Peacock already had blends. And of course, I still have my blends. Lost Lagoon did not have blends. That was before we started having blends at our disposal. So I hope they will come out with those. We'll see. The color refresh is going to be very interesting. We've had so many gorgeous colors in our past in colors. Some that we lost a few years ago. I'm just hoping we get some of those back because I sure do love them. I do have to say my all-time favorite is Seaside Spray. I really hope that comes back. It goes with so many things. It goes with blues, it goes with purples, it goes with all of that. So I would love to see that back. And, okay, here is a soft suede blends. And I'm just going to fill that in. No one will know. All right. So here we have our card. Here we have our envelope to go with it. This is our whimsical card. And then we also have one that we have that is a more serious card. Same layout. Okay. Same stamp set. This is that beautiful flower. This is one that is a piece of cardstock. I'll just go ahead and show you this. That, of course, I messed up royally. And you will see that it's peeling up here where I pulled it off. And here, I want to give you a quick tip about how to fix that. And it's a very easy fix. You get a piece of scrap cardstock. That don't even need that much. Just a little scrap out of your trash can. Put your little glue right on the very end of that. And just rake it right up under there. Push it down. In fact, I had this piece in the trash can. I thought, oh, I hate to waste that beautiful paper. So this, I will put that there. Glue that part down. Glue that down. And there we go. Of course, I already had adhesive on the back of it as well. All right. And so now this I can use again. I can put some die cuts on top of it to hide some of the mistakes that I made when I was trying to rip it all apart. But now it's usable. So that's just a little tip. All right, well, thank you so much for spending my Stampiversary with you today. And I will have posted on my blog with instructions, and that will be for this card. But of course, you adapt it to whatever. You can use the layout with whatever stamp sets, whatever dies you've got, and whatever paper you've got, and just enjoy. And I just wanted to show you again this HTTPS address. That is my online store. for purchasing any products that we use today. This newstalgiastamping.blogspot.com is my blog address. And I hate that it's so long, but once you get it put in, and your computer will probably recognize it the next time you put that in. Or you can just Google Newstalgia Stamping and it will come up. Thank you again for spending some time with me today, and I hope you'll be able to use some of these products. I'll be glad to help you with an order any way possible. My email address is also on my blog that you can contact me there. Thank you. Have a great day.